but I also was human. And this is how I made a living. And all of my connections are in the wedding industry. And how am I meant to give this up? And what am I going to do if I don't do this? Even though as far back as I can remember, I've been an artist. I
Mhm.
sold my first commission when I was 15. I've never known anything else but painting and being an artist and being this deep thinker and feeler and wanting to express how I saw things in the world. But for some reason, I had put this wedding industry as my identity and I just ran with it and couldn't see. It was like I had these blinders on. I couldn't see anything different. And so for like 3 years, I just was disobedient. But I
Mm.
could keep hearing, no, throw it away. And things got harder. Doors kept closing. I would mess things up in weddings. I would get, disappointed emails back. And it was just like everything was just closing in my face. And I think to answer your actual question of like, when did I realize was when people would ask you, what do you do? And I would say, I'm a wedding stationer. And I felt like a fraud. Like I would say it and I didn't believe it. But then I would come back to my journal and I would over and over and over write, if I'm not a wedding stationer, what am I?
Mhm.
It took a really long time up until I want to say maybe a year ago that I finally was comfortable with saying, I'm an artist. I don't have to be this type of artist. I don't have to sell this type of thing. I don't have to be any cookie cutter version of anything. I can just say that I am an artist and call it a day. And what comes from that artistry is enough. And so I think that when I was finally able to answer the question of what is it that you do for a living, and I tell people confidently, I'm an artist without the starving artist or without the, oh yeah, my niece is an artist too. That's amazing. Or you're like, oh yeah, I paint as well. And I'm like, that's amazing. There's so many different levels of what an artist can look like. In fact, I think we're all artists in some way, but how I choose to make a living doing this, that's what makes me this type of artist. And that's how I know that I'm called to this in my life.